Welcome to Invictus Porsche. We've got Laura and Paul. They're from Brighton. They bought this 911 997.1 C4S Targa. There's less than 200 of them ever made, well, for the UK market. And Laura has a fascinating story and a history of why she wanted a Targa. So I'm going to pass the mic to Laura and she can tell us more about it.
My first memories of a Targa was one when I lived in Cape Town. And it was the old Targa with the middle part came out, and it was such a pleasure to drive in such a beautiful shape, and that you weren't blown around when you were driving it because of the way it was built. It was a really pleasant drive, and it's just stayed with me that the Porsche's not really changed so much over the years, and I like that classic shape.
Nice. Do you perhaps remember what year 911 it was?
It would have been about 1984.
1984.
Yeah, it was white, yeah.
What's your plan to do with this 911? I mean, are you planning to go somewhere? I know you live in Brighton, which is probably the nicest place for many of us in the UK. I love Brighton. I always have. I mean, what do you intend to do with the car?
I think we'll do a few road trips, won't we, in it? Just to enjoy driving it. We don't need to drive to work and back every day. We're pretty much centred in Brighton, but it will be a lovely car to take a few road trips with.
Sure. And sort of, have you had other sports cars prior to this, or did you always think, well, I'm going to get a 911, I'll save up to a 911 and that's what I'll get?
I think so. The 911 was always been the dream for us. We've had Audis, we've had Peugeot convertible, but this is, yes.
Yeah, this is the sort of classic. It's a bridge between having an everyday car and a classic, I think, for us. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And obviously Paul and I will go out for a test drive.
Okay.
Just another one, and we'll get to test Paul to see how well he drives. Just obviously, just to share your passion and maybe just get you to open up the Targa roof and just kind of share my experience with you and your experience with me, just bits and bobs.
Sure.
So
lovely. Okay. Wonderful.
We'll get in if that's okay with you.
Yeah, wonderful.
All right.
Perfect. Shall we open the Targa roof?
Yeah, let's do that.
Shall I let you do the honours? Or?
Go on now.
This is. So the inspiration behind getting the 911 was like really Laura's idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So so she we wanted a new car, and something that was like not for work, just for fun.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, it has to be a 911.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why? What? Hey, why?
Yeah.
So I said, no, we're not getting a Porsche.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it for a week, and I thought, well, actually, cool.
Yeah.
If you want a Porsche, you can have a Porsche.
And what sort of? I know there is a couple of other Targas on the market. This is probably one of 5 or 6 Targas in the market.
Right.
What attracted you to this one?
Well, originally, was the story that Laura told you. Obviously, was really was intriguing. But there was no. At first, we weren't interested in Targa particularly. It was we were looking at coupes, definitely not convertibles.
Okay.
Which might sound weird, but we definitely didn't want a convertible soft top. So we were looking at coupes, and obviously, if it had a sunroof, so much the better. And we've looked at a few, and then it was just literally this one popped up, and actually, it really appealed to me. The glass roof and the and also the fact that it's a softer ride, because neither of us are boy racers, and actually we wanted more of a Grand Tourer than necessarily a sports car. So it seems to be like a perfect kind of combination, and I like the look of it. I really like the look of it. And also this one just popped up, and it was a nice colour scheme, and have you. So
that's interesting. I mean, what in particular on this car that it caught your eye? Like, what is it you liked about it? Was it the colour inside, the outside?
Yeah.
What aspect of it?
So
was it a particular bit of spec?
well, I particularly like the colour.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely didn't want a silver one.
Yeah.
I liked the fact it was all-wheel drive.
Yep.
I would have preferred, to be honest, a lighter interior, but because it's got everything else, that's fine. And I like that it has to have like heated seats and stuff like that, because that's a requirement for Laura.
Yeah. No, I've switched them on just to make sure that they're being double tested.
So yeah, that was the reason. And then, as I say, I've looked at 996s, looked at some 997s, and then this one popped up, and I came and had a look with Tem, and I thought, yeah, I really like this car, and I think Laura will really like it, and I think we could have a lot of fun, over for a few years. And also, it's like a lot of people, you reach a certain age and you think, well, I can get a Nissan Micra, but I don't want one because I'm not dead yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was quite a surprise because you work a lot, and I was like, I mean, how does a 911 fit in your lifestyle?
Oh well, because we live in Brighton, so
Yeah.
we live, and we have our own business, and so we don't have to travel to work. Our work are all around us. So we can more or less do what we like. We're kind of not semi. We are. We have our own business, and we don't have to work that hard, to be honest. I mean, we don't have to work 6 days a week. And we live in a super place, where we have a lot of fun and a lot of friends, and so we just thought, well.
So do you think like having something like this will allow you to enjoy life a bit more, go outdoorsy a bit more, and
because
visit places?
Yes, because we live in Brighton, we both love it there, and there's so much for us to do there. We never go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? We don't go out of Brighton.
Yeah.
So in a way, having something that is having a vehicle where we would want to go and drive it, and maybe jump on the ferry and go to France, or go to visit friends around the country is great for us. So it's and also it's drivable around town. I didn't want anything that you couldn't just bimble around town at 40 miles an hour if you wanted to. So I think that's why it's nice. So it fits in with the lifestyle down there, really.
No, it definitely does. I've absolutely loved Brighton. I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place.
Oh, it's my favourite place. We didn't always live there, but we've been there some years now, and we're in the tourist industry, so.
How are your heated seats feeling? Are they good?
Very nice, yes, very nice. Thank you. It's such a lovely drive, this car.
Because it's your second time driving it, isn't it?
So I drove it with Tem, and it was I really liked it. But what I like is I've driven the 966s, and they're super little cars. But it is a bit like a roller skate in one of those. It's very
996s.
Yeah, lovely, great fun. But this is more like I say, a Tourer. The Targa is more like a Tourer. I think your camera might have just fallen off. I'm not entirely sure.
The 996s are very raw.
Yeah, they're raw, and I think they're great fun, but not for us, And Laura needs to be able to drive comfortably around town, without feeling she's on a go-kart,
And there's quite a few things that contribute to this 997.1 Targa 4S that make it comfortable, and that make it exactly as you described at Grand Touring. Number one, obviously the 4S is a much more planted, more comfortable drive because it's got 2 diffs. The Targa is a heavier car overall.
Yeah.
That's another thing because they have to weigh it down because of the lack of. I mean, obviously the coupes are just built from a structural rigidity point of view. They're a bit more safer.
Gotcha.
So the Targas and the convertibles are.
They have to be
weighted
strengthened.
down.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, as you said, the lifestyle that the Targa represents is more of a, Grand Tourer.
Well, we're driving around with the roof open, and I'd forgotten.
Oh, you'd forgotten?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it shows you how sort of it's comfortable it is. It's not, you don't not getting buffeted around or anything.
Correct. Well, my main aim to leave the roof open earlier, when just as we were about to leave, was just for you to see that this can be a car with the roof that you can leave open and you can sort of enjoy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This piece of road is actually a really nice piece of road, so if you wanted to go a bit faster, you're welcome.
That's very sturdy, very nice car.
What we can do is we can do a left here.
Yeah.
It's okay, we can just go around the signs and we can just follow the road to the right.
Yeah.
And do you have kids? Is there anybody else?
We've got, our son is 25. So he actually hasn't passed his test yet, so he's not driving.
I guess living in Brighton, he probably cycles everywhere, doesn't he?
Yeah. He has learned to drive, but then he went off to university, and so it kind of all got. And then we had COVID, and then so he's actually having lessons again now. So not that he's going to be driving this, but.
I think when we're driving in the other direction, we're catching in a lot of wind.
Yeah. Yes, I noticed. Yes, it's not as
Windy.
not as noisy, is it?
But it's interesting to learn these little things about it, isn't it? And what's sort of your ownership plan? Are you planning to keep it for a long time to come?
Yeah. Well, I think it is our first Porsche, and I hope that I think and I hope that we will probably keep it several years. But you've got to if you want to do it, you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? So
Yes.
we just thought, well, we'll get a 911 and we'll see how we enjoy it and see how we get on with it, and so I would like to think we would probably keep it 5 or 6 years maybe, and then see where we are, see if we're still enjoying having one, and if we get use out of it, and if not, we would sell it on, or maybe look for some newer one, could be.
Well, in any case scenario, if it ever came to selling it, I would love to buy it back.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll let you know
please,
first.
Please,
yes.
if you could. I mean, I've always loved the Targas to be how nice it feels. I've always liked the aspect when the roof is closed.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like you're both inside and outside.
Yes.
It's a feeling that I can't really describe to you because you're sitting under this big massive glass, and you feel like we spend so much of our life driving in a car.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to get some vitamin D.
And they can feel slightly enclosed. Sports cars can be quite claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But you don't get that feeling with this. So it's nice. Yeah. So yeah, it was sort of
And
a coupe would have been fine, but when I saw the Targa, I thought, well, no, I do like that, and I love the glass and the colour of the glass with the blue on this particular one is a really nice combination.
And why in particular an automatic and not a manual? Because somehow many people seem to want a manual in a Targa.
Right.
I don't understand it, but you know, because it represents a much more comfortable lifestyle and a comfortable car.
Yeah.
Having it manual can, I think, offset that kind of.
No, I definitely didn't want a manual. Well, neither of us wanted a manual.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had I really like automatics. I'm a lazy driver, and but I'm not. It's not about getting the most out of the engine or anything like that, or pumping. I don't want to be pumping the clutch all the time. So I like having an automatic. In fact, I've just had my knee replaced. So
Okay.
so not that it's perfect. It's perfectly fine, but.
Yeah. You
You
would
know,
rather not put it through.
I just can't be. I just prefer an automatic. In fact, when I had my knee done, it would have been great to have had an automatic because my other car is a manual. Because then I could have driven straight away.
Because I remember I moved your other car the other day.
Yeah.
When you were here.
Yeah.
It's a manual, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So, are you guys going to be tossing a coin who drives this?
Yeah,
bike?
probably. No, I'm gonna drive it back because it's madness on the M25 at the moment.
Was it quite busy?
Yeah, pretty busy. Yeah, not terrible. I mean, it's okay, but it was it's quite hectic at the moment. So I'll probably drive back, maybe most of the way, and then Laura can drive it the rest of the way. But she's fine. She's a great driver, but we don't get out of Brighton that much anymore. So.
But I guess it's such a nice place to live in. You don't really want to go out of it.
No, it's lovely. I walked, I literally fall out the door and can go and swim in the sea and take my dog to the beach, and there's theatres and bars and restaurants and everything there. So it's just got everything, And our business is a tourist business, so it's perfectly placed for that. So no, it's one of my favourite places in the UK. Definitely, really love it there.
So amongst many, so what are your other most likeable places in the UK?
I'd like Pembrokeshire in Wales.
Okay.
That's wonderful. I come from Portsmouth, and I do quite like Portsmouth. It's a bit rough, but I like it. And and the Lake District, which was where I originally came from.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. And have you been to Cape Town much?
Yeah, well, once. I've been once. Yeah.
Okay.
Laura lived there for many years, but we went out a couple of years ago to Cape Town. It was great. Yeah, I loved it. It was. I wouldn't want to live there because I just there's certain aspects to it that I didn't really like. But in terms of a place to go and visit, it was fantastic. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Cape Town a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
And I liked it. I mean, would I live there? I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's got sort of problems that can be a bit intractable, can't they? Sometimes
It can, and it's only got to happen to you once.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, I never felt nervous there, but then I was with friends and we knew, but you wouldn't catch me going to Johannesburg or anything.
Yeah, I worked in Johannesburg.
Did you?
And
Laura did too.
Campton Park. There's this industrial area there.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
We worked for a mining drilling company.
Okay.
They had a project in Botswana, so in the neighbouring country.
Yes.
A bit safer, I would say.
What, Botswana?
Yeah.
Yeah, Botswana's quite, so it's, you know, supposed to be quite a nice, one of the nicest African, you know, countries to live and work.
I loved Cape Town. I thought I was in heaven.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. I really liked it, and I did quite like the wine area as well. Spent a bit of time there as well. Although it's so bloody hot, but yeah, Cape Town's really nice. Yeah, and we stayed on a couple of different places. Clifton Beach.
Yep.
Ah, wow, that was heaven on earth.
Clifton Beach.
Yeah, that was really lovely.
I told myself when I go back, I'll go and do one of those helicopter rides.
Yeah.
It's for I think 1,500 rands. You can have 30 minutes in a helicopter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever tried one of those helicopter rides.
Do you know, I've never been in a helicopter.
Yeah.
I've never been. All right. So just before we go,
Yeah.
what
yes.
do I need to know? Actually, I tell you what, I'm probably going to be fine. I pretty much know what everything is, but maybe
You know, because you've got 2 keys.
Yeah.
One of the other things is you can program each of the key to your requirement.
Yeah.
So when you are unlocking the vehicle and as soon as you open the door, the seats adjust to you.
Yes, I mean,
And the other
thing.
key
Yeah.
can be programmed and adjusted to Laura.
Right.
It's very interesting. You must do that.
Yeah. Absolutely, I will.
Yeah, perfect. We could do this.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not the one. Got short legs.